Hey everybody, my name is Ben Rubin. I wanted to introduce myself before I started the audio presentation. I'm gonna try to put a little PowerPoint over this whole thing for everybody so I have some visuals. Um, but yeah, so the movie I picked for pre 1960 was Umberto D. It was a film from 1952, directed by Vittorio De Sica. We have already watched another film directed by Vittorio De Sica, which is Bicycle Thieves. That was from 1948. That was honestly one of my favorite ones that we have watched this year. I wrote strongly about that too for one of our responses. So I just really wanted to kind of pick back up on more of his work and see his other art that he created and why he was so inspirational and a pioneer in the Italian neorealism movement. So I wanted to start off with a summary about what the film is about. The film Umberto D is about the main character, Umberto Domenico Ferrari. He's an elderly pensioner, and this is taking place in a post-World War II Italy setting. So he's doing whatever he can pretty much to pay off his rent, even though he's been threatened by his landlord that he'll be evicted, and he's trying to do whatever he can to make ends meet. And he's living in a rooming house, and there's a lot of other people also living in the room and people that are trying to get in there, and his landlord has been trying to get him out. And so he's been pretty desperate, and he kind of tries to seek help from his former landlady and his dog, Flike. He seeks money from his former landlady and other people also. He sees people begging on the streets, so he at one point has an opportunity where he looks like he's begging, but then doesn't take the money. He kind of pulls back. I don't think he has the courage to really do it at that point. But then he sets up his dog, Flike, to sit there with a hat in its mouth and kind of beg for money, or look like it's begging for money. And that just shows the struggle that Umberto is going through to make ends meet in a way and to support himself. He even fakes sick at one point, trying to go to the hospital, anything that he can to not get evicted pretty much, and he puts his foot down to not let that happen. And him and his former landlady have a really good bond that you see throughout the film. And it honestly is kind of an emotional film in a way. I think it is labeled as a drama, and the character of Umberto grows on you as you watch, and towards the end you see the relationship that he has between him and his maid and his dog, Flike. So one of the reasons that Vittorio is a very notable director is he was a pioneer in the Italian neorealist movement at the height of it too. Its peak pretty much. Italy was in a very rocky and shaky social and political climate at the time post World War II, and they had struggles of poverty, hunger, many different things going on that Vittorio was able to capture. And something about the Italian neorealist movement is just the raw footage that was able to get captured, the true feelings, raw emotions of human beings in everyday life that was going on. And the reason why this movie, Umberto D specifically, is such a masterpiece in that movement is because it represented and embodied basically everything that the Italian neorealism is. The film starts out with a protest going on with these pensioners trying to increase their wage, pretty much. And that right there is the struggle. You can see the struggle in the march in the street of people in poverty, people living in these boarding houses. We see corruption going on. We see poverty, people begging for money. We just see struggle in everyday working class people struggling, and you see the tiredness on their face and the sweat and the pain, and it's emotional. It is. And to go on that note, I'm going to transition into a review by, obviously, the Roger Ebert. Ebert, however you pronounce his last name. We all know who he is, though. So what Roger says about the film, and I quote now, Umberto D is one of the most heartbreaking movies ever made. It is about a man who has nothing left in life except his little dog, and when the dog gets lost, he has nothing left to do but die. This summary might make you think you are about to see a sad and depressing film, but you won't feel that way when you have seen it. You will feel that you have seen a film made by a man who understands, who knows what every lonely soul knows, and who has made a film that deals with loneliness and defeat on a simple human level. That is why it is one of the most beautiful films ever made. End quote. So another reason why I thought this quote was great to use is because I feel like it captured the very drastic side of what this film really was. Roger Ebert, again, says that it's kind of like a very sad movie, but at the same time, it's not sad if you watch it and get it. He kind of picks up on it's pretty much just about loneliness and defeat and trying to overcome that. Now, I am 100% sure that this film should be shown in this class in the future, especially in the Italian neorealist movement section that we were learning about. Bicycle Thieves, again by Vittorio De Sica, was a great film and another one of my favorites that we've watched this year. And a reason why I think this one should be shown, though, also is it really is a touching and moving film, and it really, I think, also does a perfect job of capturing the whole Italian neorealist movement and all its elements that created it what it is. And there's also universal themes that we see in the film, such as aging and isolation. What really also made this film so moving and touching is that it made, and if it made me do this, I'm definitely not the only one. It really made me think about my life and my hardships and what I have to overcome, and sometimes I feel lonely, and sometimes I feel struggles, and I know that everybody else does, and not everybody else is forward about it, and just this is what art is, and this is another form of art, like music too. It's something to relate to. This is a visual representation of something that people were able to relate to, and especially at this time. That's why they were making it at this time, was to show the people of this time that were living in that current day that, hey, we get you, we see what's going on, and it was also, it's art is history. We learn it now about what the struggles were back then, and I think that's what's really cool about films, just about art in general, but about history films, and that's why I'm a big fan of history too, is I just like learning about the past and how we came to get to where we are today in certain things of life. So that's pretty much all I had prepared and presented for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you did, Dr. Pepper, thank you, because I know you are listening. And hopefully you decide to show this maybe next year, or if you teach this again. But I would like to hear what you thought about the movie too, because I'm sure you've seen this one. But if not, I definitely recommend it to you because it is very good and very touching and very moving. And it grows on you throughout the movie for sure. I definitely, at the start, was interested in it, just like all these other films, but it definitely grew on me. So thank you so much.